Three 17-year-old boys arrested for allegedly raping a 15-year-old girl on Sunday will appear before the Randburg Magistrate's Court today. The girl was attending a party in Midrand, north of Johannesburg, when she was gang raped. The Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit attended to the victim immediately after this matter was reported to the police on Monday afternoon. The police arrested one of the suspects at his residence in Johannesburg, whilst the other two handed themselves over to the police at the Midrand Police Station. So for more on this, we're going to be joined via video link by child rights activist Joan van Niekerk. Joan, I dare say good afternoon, but thank you for joining us on the SABC at this hour. I'm just looking at the incident that has come to the fore, one of many, child on child or minor on minor, sexual violence, sexual harassment, that incident coming to the fore. The scale that's coming through in South Africa, particularly in this festive season, what are we observing on this front? What should we be made aware of?
Well, we are seeing generally, and there's general agreement amongst experts that we're seeing more and more child-on-child violence. And I think often young women in particular believe that they are safe with their peers, that their peers would not assault them sexually or even physically because of the relationships between them. They were attending the same party. It's possible that they knew each other and the girl was quite trusting. I think it's really important for parents and caregivers to talk to their children, particularly their boy children, about the issue of sexual consent and sexual violence. First of all, the impact that it has on their victims, and secondly, the legal consequences. If these young men are found guilty of rape, this conviction will follow them, quite likely for the rest of their lives. Unless cases are withdrawn for whatever reason, and that would be unfortunate if the rape did happen. So it's really important that it's investigated carefully, that the evidence before the court is carefully prepared to enable a conviction in this case. What I would like to say to young people is, please, if you are at a party, don't drink, don't drug, because the more sober you are, the more alert you are. Also remain with your peer group in terms of, if you're a girl, remain with a group of friends. Don't let anybody isolate you from the party. Remain with your group of friends, because you are safer in a group than you are if a group of boys is able to kind of move you out of your peer group. And also, it's interesting that this case was only reported to the police on Monday afternoon, and the party occurred over the weekend. This means that there was a reluctance to report to the police, possibly. It also means that physical evidence of the rape may be more difficult to obtain. And I appeal to young people and older people as well. If you are sexually assaulted, report as soon as possible, because the evidence remains on your body for a period of time. Even if it's not semen, there may be other evidence that remains on your body. The earlier you report, the earlier you can have a case that stands more clearly and firmly in the court. But prevention is better than dealing with the aftermath. So please, parents, know where your children are. Caregivers, know where your children are. If there's drinking at a party or drugging, please remove your young people. Remember that alcohol use is banned until the age of 18, and for good reason. It is because young people are not good decision makers, even about their own safety.
Joan?
Monitor your children's whereabouts all of the time.
Joan, you're definitely speaking to effective safeguarding practices. And at this point, given the rights and recourse that also occur, I mean, how would you speak to, working with minors or juveniles who who have sexually offended somebody in terms of their own healing, in terms of their own, reintegration back into society, in terms of justice also ensuing? What comes to the fore on that front?
Well, we do not provide enough preventative or responsive services to young people who are either at risk or who have committed a sexual offence. And indeed, these young people do need therapeutic responses that turn their behaviour around. And this is the whole aim and objective of the Child Justice Act, which deals with children in conflict with the law. These young people need to learn about things like sexual consent, how to deal with impulses, the impact of their behavior on victims, the importance of the impact of this on their future well-being and their future generally in terms of the occupations they can move in and so on. And this is one of the problems with all teenagers. And I can remember when my children were teenagers, it was exactly the same. Children do not think long-term consequences, and they also believe that they are safe when they are not safe. And this is why parental and caregiver involvement in their children's lives is just so important. Do talk to your children about sexual safety and safety in other situations as well. So often we do find that when these things happen, there are not good relationships between parents and children, particularly between fathers and their children. And the father is the most important person in terms of guiding their male children's behavior and ensuring that it moves in a positive, non-abusive, non-aggressive, non-exploitive direction.
Well, Joan.
Yes, and I must also... Yeah,
because I just actually wanted to also, just in the interest of time, look at the advent of social media era and the influences that obviously come to the fore. Whilst you've been highlighting the relationship between parents, particularly fathers and their children, what's coming to the fore on that front? And also, given the incidences occurring, what's being reflected about our society and its future?
That was a good point, and I was about to talk about this next. We're very concerned as professionals about the impact of exposure to pornography on children's lives. That is not to say we want to cut children off from being able to explore the internet, not at all. They need to use the internet, but use it wisely. It is unfortunate that pornography exposes children to the wrong kind of sexuality. They see a lot of sexual aggression. They see a lot of male dominance over women. They believe that this is the way people should behave sexually. I will never forget sitting in court and listening to a young offender say, "You do treat women like this. You see it in the movies, that you kind of pin them down, start something sexual, and eventually they just submit and enjoy it." And he said, you see it in the movies, you see it on pornography. And sadly, this is true. And it gives entirely the wrong message to children, both male and female, about their sexuality. Parents need to talk to their children about pornography.